Alright, so as I have already said, if you have gone through the videos of this course in the sequence that I told you to, then for this module you must have already reached to a certain level and you have already understood the format on your own. However, let's quickly revise it. So, if you must have observed already that part 1 is always a conversation between maximum 2 people. Yes, this conversation will not be with more than 2 people. There will always be just 2 people having this conversation. Part 2 is a monologue. But part 3 again is a conversation, but now it is possible that this conversation can take place between maximum 4 people. Means there can be 2 people in the conversation, there can be 3, there can be 4 also. Alright. Then part 4 again is a monologue. What is a monologue? A monologue is where only one person is speaking. Conversation which takes place between multiple people, at least more than one. But a monologue is where only one person speaks. Dialogue is where 2 people are speaking. Basically, a conversation is happening. Okay. So, in part 1 and part 2, that means one conversation and one monologue will always be based on topics which are related to day-to-day situation, anything related to social events, society. You will see that part 1 is a conversation wherein it can be between a client and a receptionist. It can be between a person who is trying to book a hotel or a room in a hotel for that matter. It can be between someone who wants to go for a tour and is speaking to a tour office, tour agent maybe. It can be a conversation between 2 people wherein one is trying to get a survey filled by the next person. It can be a conversation between a person who is trying to ask or inquire about the job opening. So, conversation related to day-to-day situations, right? Similarly, in part 2, which is a monologue, again the topics would be similar. You can see maybe a mayor is giving some information about new developments going to happen in the city, or simply a gym instructor trying to give some instructions to the new joinees, right? Or maybe a tourist guide is giving you some tour of the park or maybe any other touristic place. So, basically both these parts, part 1 and part 2, will be based on some social or day-to-day situation or events. Alright. Now comes part 3 and part 4. As you can see, part 3 and part 4, that means one conversation and one monologue. The topics here would be related to academic, which can be related to some kind of training, basically all in all related to students and their academic life, I must say. Once again, part 3 can be a conversation which can be between 4 people maximum, right? So, it can be a conversation between a teacher and a student. It can be a conversation between 2 students talking about their upcoming projects. It can be again a conversation between a junior and a senior, or maybe a teacher and 2 students. So, anything but related to studies, academic. Yes. Now, part 4 again on the same topic, but it is going to be a monologue. In here, you will see that a person is speaking about maybe some new developments that have taken place in a particular field, or talking about a new species that something was discovered somewhere, again related to academic. Yes. All in all, remember, even if it is a day-to-day situation or related to academic, all 4 audios will be for non-specific audience, meaning it is expected that anyone and everyone from whichever background or field of study should be able to listen and understand. Yes? Alright. So, now let's move further. you must have already noticed that part 1 is the easiest. In part 2, there are little distractors. In part 3, in fact, there are little more distractors, and part 4 is the most demanding. When I say distractors, means there would be more synonyms, there would be a lot of paraphrasing done, the answers can be far from each other, there can be some distractors in terms of traps. So, well, we'll see all this when we are dealing with this module in detail for each part separately. Yes. Further, you must have noticed that the speed also gradually increases from part 1 till part 4. Well, that's the whole logic or idea behind keeping this arrow moving upward. Well, alright. So, not just the speed, the difficulty level also increases in case of listening. Now, let's talk about the pauses which are there within and in between the parts. Yes? Now, as we know, there are 10 questions in each part, correct? And if you have already started practicing, you must have noticed that when the audio is played, it is not played for all 10 questions at a stretch. There is a pause in between. That means there would be some part of the audio which would be played and you will have to solve only some questions out of 10 first. And you will get again some time to read the questions which are left for that particular part, right? If you have also noticed that these 10 questions are not always divided in half-half. That means you will not have some time to read questions 1 to 5 and then 6 to 10. No, this division can be any. For example, there can be some time to read questions from 1 to 4 or 1 to 6 or 1 to 3, right? And the remaining questions in the next half. Now, when I say next half, doesn't mean the division will also be half-half of the questions, okay? The point is that you get some time to look at questions, to look at certain questions of that part. Then again, there is some pause wherein you are given time to look at the questions, the remaining questions of that part, and then again the audio is played, right? Let's understand this once again very quickly. So what happens is, when your first part starts, before that, in fact, very much before that, there are some instructions given, correct? Then you get some time to look at certain questions, and these questions can be, anything. Let's say, for example, questions from 1 to 6. So you have time to look at questions 1 to 6, then the audio would be played. You have to mark the answers for question 1 to 6. After that, there would be a pause wherein you will again get some time to look at the remaining questions of that part. That means you have to look at now questions from 7 till 10 in this particular example. After the audio is played and you have marked the answers for 7 to 10, then you get 30 seconds time to check your work of this part. Yes? After this part is over, then your part 2 starts, where again there are some instructions and some time given to you, right, to read some questions of this part. Let's say from question number 11 till maybe 14, just an example, right? After the audio is played and you have marked answers for question 11 till 14, then again there is a pause wherein you get time to look at questions 15 till 20. After you have marked answers for 15 till 20 based on the audio that you will listen to, again you get 30 seconds time to check your work for part 2, right? After part 2's audio is over, your part 3 begins, where again followed by some instructions, you get some time to look at questions. Again, some part of questions, not all 10 questions at a stretch. So again, let's say from question 21 till maybe 27. Well, then after listening to the audio and once marking the answers till 27, again there is a pause so that you can read the the questions for this part, the remaining questions. In this case, which would be from question 28 up till 30. After the audio is played and you have marked answers till 30, again there would be some time, rather exactly 30 seconds to check your work for part 3, right? Once that is done, once audio for part 3 is over, then your audio for part 4 starts. But before that, again followed by some instructions, there would be again some time to look at questions from 31 up till 40. In this part, these 10 questions are not divided into 2 sections, let's say. So you will not get time for only some questions of this part. You will get some time to read all 10 questions for part 4. Yes. So once again, you will get some time wherein now you have to read all 10 questions and then the audio will be played. You will listen to the audio and mark these 10 questions, rather mark answers for these 10 questions. After which again you get 30 seconds time to check your work for part 4. And this format will be common for paper-based test as well as for computer-based test. Now, after these 30 seconds are over, which you get to check your part 4's answers, right? After this, in case of paper-based test, you get 10 minutes extra to transfer the answers to the answer sheet. Whereas in case of CBT, you just get only 2 minutes extra to check your work. Okay, so I hope how the timing is divided, or let's say how the pauses are divided in case of the listening module is pretty much now clear to you. You must have already started practicing and you must have already observed that. But if you were not sure that this is how the test would be, well, yes, this is how it would be there in your test as well. Okay. All right. Now let me give you a quick shout out. Yep, it's my promo time. So the lessons that you're watching right now, these are just a small part of my full course called IELTS Ultimate All-in-One Course, and honestly, it's everything you will ever need to prepare for the test. This course covers all 4 modules in full detail. Everything is explained in step-by-step manner from basics to advanced, wherein I also explain you how to do self-evaluations so that you're not dependent on anyone to see your improvement. So basically what happens is, when you join the full course, I will talk to you personally on a Zoom call to help you build a customized study plan based on your requirement. And then I stay in touch with you through WhatsApp or email for daily follow-ups, reminders, and also to clear your doubts whenever you have any. This way, you are never preparing alone. My students always say this one-on-one support and clarity is what helped them to finally hit their target score. Oh, and since you're watching this on YouTube, there's a special discount just for you. Go to the description, click on the course link, and while registering, use coupon code TYOFFER and get a super discount. My website, WhatsApp details, contact details, everything is there in the description. Message me if you have any questions. Alright, back to the lesson now. Alright, so far so much is pretty clear, and in fact I would say a quick revision is going on, right? In that case, let's quickly revise the types of questions also that you may get for your listening test. So, in case of the listening module, the types of questions are very much similar to that of the reading module. However, not all the questions would be same. So, now in case of listening, you get multiple choice questions which are again of 2 types, and these 2 types are same as we have seen for the reading module, wherein Type 1 is you get a list of options, maybe 3 or 4 options, out of which you have to choose one correct answer. Type 2 is where you get a list of options wherein there can be 5 or 6 or 7 options, out of which you have to choose multiple correct answers. Means more than one. It can be choosing 2 correct answers or maybe 3 correct answers, right? It totally depends. So that's type 2, right? So multiple choice questions, you can get this for listening as well. For listening, you get short answer questions, type of questions as well. There can be map labeling, diagram labeling or plan labeling. Yes, one of the areas where many candidates find some challenges. Next, sentence completion. Now this sentence completion is again similar to fill in the blank kind of questions, right? Then we may have form completion, table, flowchart, note completion or summary completion, which again looks very similar to fill in the blank. We have had the same discussion when we were doing the reading module, right? Same type of questions. In the listening module, again we have matching 2 lists. That means you will be given one list and there would be another list which you have to match, alright? Well, we have seen something similar in the reading module. For example, matching sentence endings in case of the reading module. I won't say this is exactly the same, but it is similar. Okay. Alright. So, if the questions are similar, it is pretty obvious that the instructions would also be pretty much similar. Alright. So yes, in case of the listening module, when it comes to these types of questions, the instructions are very much similar to that of the reading module. So because we have dealt with the instructions and their importance a lot in detail when we were dealing with the reading module, now I think this much detailing is not required because I am hoping that you do understand the importance of instructions. And we will look at them anyway when we are dealing with each type of question separately. Yes. So now talking about the instructions, in case of the listening module, there would be 2 types of instructions. One which you have to listen to and one you have to read and understand. And both these types of instructions are equally important. Yes. So we need to pay attention to the audio, means the instructions which are given in the audio, as well as we have to read and understand the instructions depending on different type of questions. Alright. So in the beginning of the test, there would be some instructions even before your part 1 starts. Let's listen to those instructions once so that you are sure that yes, this is something will happen in your exam also. It's not just happening with you while practicing. So let's listen to some instructions which you will get at the beginning of the test, even before your part 1 instructions start.
You will hear a number of different recordings and you will have to answer questions on what you hear. There will be time for you to read the instructions and questions, and you will have a chance to check your work. All the recordings will be played once only. The test is in 4 sections. At the end of the test, you will be given 10 minutes to transfer your answers to an answer sheet. Now turn to section 1.
Alright, so did you listen to the word section? Well, now it would not be section, it would be parts in your exam. Okay, so every time you listen to this term section 1, section 2, understand that now in your exam you will not listen to the word section, you will listen to the word part. Okay, cool. So far the instructions, audio instructions also are pretty much obvious to you by now. Now, in the next part of this lesson, we will try and see how you can get familiar with a computer-based test. Remember, this would be specifically for those who are planning to give CBT. If you are confused, if at all you're confused which one you should take, then you can just go through this part of this lesson. Otherwise, you can skip it and directly go to the next lesson. Alright, see you there. Alright, so if you're planning to give this test on computer, then you should definitely get a little familiar with the computer-based test and the way it would be conducted on your test day, right? Now, in case of reading, we saw how to solve a familiarization test with the help of IDP's website, if you remember. Yes, we should always go to these official websites to try our computer-based test. In fact, for any information as well, these official websites are fully authentic. Which are these? Number 1, IDP, number 2, British Council, number 3, Cambridge, and number 4, IELTS.org. Yes. So today I'll take help of British Council's website to show you how you can get familiar with your listening module. Alright. So what you have to do is type takeielts.britishcouncil.org in the URL and enter. Once you click on this link, you will land on this page. Over here, go to Take IELTS and click on Preparing for IELTS. The moment you click on that, you will land on this page. Now scroll down a little and on your right hand side, you will see it's written Prepare for IELTS, wherein you should go to Practice Tests. Click on Practice Tests and you will see this page now. Again, scroll down a little and again on your right hand side under Practice Test, you will see an option as IELTS on Computer Preparation. IELTS on Computer Preparation. Click on that. Now, again scroll down a little, wherein again on right hand side you will see IELTS on Computer Preparation, under which you should click on Free IELTS on Computer Familiarization Test. Free IELTS on Computer Familiarization Test. Click on that and you will land on this page. Now click on Register Now. Then next page will open, wherein you have to fill in your details. Let me do that quickly. I'll just type in my name and then my email address, the country I belong to. Then I have to click on I agree. You see, I agree to the terms of use and privacy and cookies policies of this test. Stay in touch. I agree to receive. No, I don't want to click that. I agree to receive these mails. No, I don't want to click on that. And I can directly click on register. Then this is where you will land. Wow. Now you have 3 options to choose from. IELTS on Computer Academic, IELTS on Computer General Training. These are the 2 majorly used ones. So let's say I'm clicking on IELTS on Computer Academic. Select in Center Academic. Yes, I select that. Then there would be certain instructions. Go through these instructions and then click on Start Test. So the moment you click on Start Test, you will see that you have 3 modules to practice: listening, reading and writing. Go to listening module. Listen to the instructions first. They will ask you to listen to the instructions clearly. These instructions that you will listen to in case of IELTS computer test would be specifically for the CBT format. Okay. Listen to the instructions, get familiar with these instructions as well, and then try solving one test of listening on computer just to get familiar how your test is going to be conducted on your test day, if at all you're planning for CBT. Alright. Okay, so far we have completed a quick orientation, quick introduction and understanding of the format of this module, and I'm sure that this was pretty much already very clear to you people. Just a quick revision happened. Yes. Now from the next lesson onwards, we will be trying to see some really wonderful techniques and tricks and strategies and tips to solve the listening module. All right. So see you there. Bye-bye.